Choice, your creative superpower. We have the power to manifest as we dedicate attention to our thoughts, but often miss opportunity to achieve the greatest good. Your superpower is waiting to be unleashed to unlock a fuller, more rewarding world for all. Join us every Thursday at noon Mountain Time for Choice, your creative superpower with Zoe Muro. And now, here's Zoe.
Hello, folks. Good to see you. Welcome to the New Thought Media Network, and welcome to Choice, your creative superpower. My name is Zoe Muro, and I am once again delighted to be your host. If you're coming back, it's good to have you here again. If this is your first time, well, welcome. We are here each Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time, 12 noon Mountain Time. What we do here is we explore how you can use the awesome superpower of choice to co-create the greatest good in your life experience. I'm a religious science practitioner and a transformational coach. I work with people who are looking to live their lives to the fullest. Let's see. Who's here today? Hello, Wayne. Good to see you. And hello, Fiona. Good to see you as well. Hope things are going well over there in Geneva. So let's see. Today is going to be kind of an unusual episode. I'm entitling it the Ex Libris. The Ex Libris episode. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to select, or I have selected, a number of books from my library, not the make-believe library here, but my actual library. Now, the books that I've chosen don't directly deal with choice. In fact, I've actually specifically eliminated those from this discussion. What I wanted to present today are books that have given me great insights into how to co-create a fulfilling life, which is, of course, all the types of things that we need to make the best possible choices and to understand exactly how our choices affect us. So there is that yin-yang aspect of this, that reciprocal aspect of it. So I have a series of books. And what I'm going to do is I'll tell you about the book a bit. Not so much a book report, if you will, or a book review, as much as a teaser, if you will. I want you to get a sense of these books and see for yourself if this is something that you would find to be interesting. If you would like to have the list of books that I'm going to be giving you today, and you don't have an opportunity to write it down as we go along, because I am going to move along kind of fast, I suppose. All you have to do is just send me an email, and I will be happy to send you that list. Not going to spam you, just send you the list. So, our first book, and I have to say that this book is just absolutely spectacular. If you read no other book from this list, this is the one to read. This is by Dr. Carol S. Dweck. The book is called Mindset: The New Psychology of Success. And it provides insights into understanding how and why we perceive ourselves, our lives, and our world in the way that we do. So Dr. Dweck discusses what mindsets are, how they differ, what their origins are, how they can shape a life experience, the importance of valuing the struggle, the idea of redefining success and failure. And what I particularly like about this book is that Dr. Dweck uses real-world examples and real-world applications of the different mindsets. I'll read a very, very brief excerpt from the book. She says, mindsets frame the running account that's taking place in people's heads. Mind frames frame. I promise I'll read better than this. Mindsets frame the running account that's taking place in people's heads. They guide the whole interpretation process. A fixed mindset creates an internal monologue that is focused on judging. Now, she contrasts that in this way. People with a growth mindset are also constantly monitoring what's going on, but their internal monologue is not about judging themselves and others in this way. Okay? They're attuned to the implications for learning and constructive actions. All right. So you would imagine that mindset can make a huge, huge difference in your life. And this is exactly why I want this book to be considered to be a number one book to be read. Magnificent book. Have there been other books on mindset? Yes, there have. This is the one that I like the best. And, I will also encourage you, if there are books that you particularly like, you can let me know. I would love to see if there are books that I have had an opportunity to read. And if not, books that I will make an opportunity to read. So our next book is called Real Change: Mindfulness to Heal Ourselves and the World. This book is by Sharon Salzberg. And in the book, she focuses on internal and external transformation, providing an understanding of what's at the core of who we are, how to bring about the benefits that we want to manifest, and coincidentally, choices we make along the path from having an idea to bringing it through to resolution. I will say that Sharon writes really well. I mean, really beautifully. Again, just a small excerpt. She's speaking about building resilience. It says, resilience is something that accretes over time as we develop a habit of courageously responding to or being with pain without freaking out. At some point, you notice you bend, but don't break. In fact, even mighty oaks can bend in the wind without breaking. That resilience, that ability to go with the flow, the ability to bend as opposed to break, is absolutely key towards our being able to make choices that bring about a greater sense of openness, a greater sense of abundance, rather than a sense of limitation. Okay, next book. All right, our next one is called Tiny Buddha's Inner Strength Journal. I love this book. This is by Laurie Deshane. And it's described as creative prompts and challenges to help get you through anything so that you can, as it reads on the back cover, become your most powerful self. Yeah, that absolutely is in alignment with what we are doing here. So it contains quotes, writing prompts, doodle prompts even, and challenges. It talks about releasing false stories, about self-compassion, about emotional awareness, interpretation of experiences, and the mindset that you bring, and so much more. starting to see a real pattern here, I would imagine. So here's a little something that I wanted to read. And I just love this quote. Matter of fact, many of the quotes that I use during these talks come from the majority of these books. This quote is from Christine Mason Miller, who says, "At any given moment, you have the power to say, this is not how the story is going to end." At any given moment, you have the power to say, this is not how the story is going to end. And then they give a challenge in the book. It says, think of a situation, or more than one, that is currently stressing, worrying, or overwhelming you. List the things you feel are outside your control. And for each, one thing that is within your power to reinforce that you always have choices. For example, maybe you can't leave your job, but you can choose to somehow make it more enjoyable. Wonderful book. Very uplifting, I would say, would be the way that I would phrase it. Next is a book about self-renewal. It's by Dr. Tom Rusk, and it's called Get Out of Your Own Way. Escape from mind traps. Mind traps. Getting free from limiting habits, limiting relationships, limiting situations. Getting free from self-doubt, fear of failure, jealousy, perfectionism. Ooh, that's a big one. I actually have a note on my desk that says, done is better than perfect. So here's an excerpt from Get Out of Your Own Way by Tom Rusk, Dr. Tom Rusk. Talks about the great American success trap. It starts with a quote from Oscar Wilde. In the world, there are only two tragedies. One is not getting what one wants, and the other is getting it. Thank you, Oscar. Love these quotes. Then we have, prior to success, we might say something like, well, if I were successful, I'd no longer doubt myself. I'd feel worthwhile. I'd feel fulfilled and happy. It makes sense to put success ahead of everything else. And after achieving success, we might turn around and say, well, according to everyone else, I'm successful. Why don't I feel worthwhile, fulfilled, and happy? There must be something wrong with me. We have a real problem with success in our society. There are times that we value it above all else, and there are times that we denigrate our own successes. It's like, well, yeah, I did that, but if I could do that, anybody could do that. And so we lose out on the wonder. We lose out on the enjoyment of what we were able to accomplish. And, as we was talking about in mindset, for example, the idea of being able to actually enjoy the learning process, enjoy the path to success. That's a big part of, as Dr. Rusk says, getting out of your own way. Let's see. Now, the next one is a book that you've probably already read. And if you haven't read it, I'd be surprised if you haven't heard of it. It's called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. This is by Dr. Susan Jeffers. And in that book, Dr. Jeffers asks, how does fear limit your life? It discusses what we fear and why. It discusses moving from victim to creator. There's an important word. It talks about out-talking the negative inner voice and creating more meaning in life. It's right up our alley. So let's see an excerpt from this book. The purpose of this book is to help you handle fear in a way that allows you to fulfill your goals in life. Every time you encounter something that forces you to, quote unquote, handle it, your self-esteem is raised considerably. You learn to trust that you will survive no matter what happens. And in this way, your fears are diminished immeasurably. The knowledge that you can handle anything that comes your way is the key to allowing yourself to take healthy, life-affirming risks. So many times when we're considering what our choices are in life, we run them by a filter, if you will. And in that filter, we have all of the things that we have succeeded in. We have all of the things that we have, quote unquote, failed at. And yeah, I don't even know if I want to put the word fail into quotes in this particular case. Yes, there are times that we fail at things. It doesn't mean that we are failures. It means that whatever it was that we were attempting to do, we were unable to do. But we certainly had the opportunity to learn from that. Okay. So being able to put aside the fear that we might not be able to do something, being able to put aside the fear that, well, this is something I've never even attempted before. How will I do this? And being able to embrace the practice of learning, being able to look at something with the eyes of a beginner and to feel comfortable in that allows us to open ourselves to many, many more choices. The next book that I want to talk about is called The Anatomy of a Calling. This is by Dr. Lissa Rankin, who describes it as a prescription for finding your life's purpose. Now, Dr. Rankin is actually a medical doctor, and she has embraced the importance of a holistic approach to life. And in this book, she relates her journey from being a stressed out physician to an enlightened healer. She really is a magnificent author. There's another book that she wrote called Mind Over Medicine, which I would also strongly recommend. It doesn't deal specifically with choice in any way, but it does absolutely deal with the importance of the mind-body connection. And this is a great part of what she learned and realized that to be a healer is more than simply a matter of what you know from a medical perspective. Okay. So there are a variety of practices listed in the book. And in the practice, Question Your Thoughts, she references Byron Katie's 4 questions about the thoughts you've been believing. So she says, question the thoughts that cause you stress. Right? Ask yourself these 4 questions about the thought that you've been believing. 1, is it true? 2, can I absolutely know that it's true? 3, how do I react? What happens when I believe that thought? And 4, who would I be without the thought? If you are looking for ways to get past the things that hold you down, looking at what it is that you believe becomes absolutely crucial to your ability to open, to your ability to accept, to your ability to feel comfortable in opening and learning. I used to say, for example, I'm a slow learner. That was something that I said for years. And you know what? As long as I believed it, I was slowed down. And then one day somebody said to me, I can't believe how quickly you picked blah, blah, blah up, whatever it was. I was like, wow, I didn't really think of it that way. And that happened again and again. So what happened when I got rid of that thought? Well, guess what, folks? I'm not a slow learner. I learn things and I learn them well. Choices based on our beliefs. Next book is called Lean Forward into Your Life by Marianne Radmacher. I mean, just the title alone is magnificent. I love that. I love that. So this is written partly as a memoir, partly as inspiration, and it's about moving through life with a greater sense of ease and a greater sense of grace. If you did nothing more than read the chapter titles and consider those as actions for growth, you'd be doing well. For example, they have chapters called Do What You Love, Choose with No Regret, Know When to Leave, Appreciate Your Friends, Play with Abandon. Now, the subtitle for this book is Begin Each Day as If It Were on Purpose. Let's check this out. This is a little piece called I Am Willing. It says, I am willing to craft a body which can leap and hike and kayak and be strong and resilient. I am willing to practice my natural gifts without reservation. I am willing to love with courage and compassion and set aside pettiness and judgment. I am willing to be incorrect for the sake of discovery. I am willing to fail for the emergence of innovation. I am willing to balance contradiction in order to experience success, prosperity, equanimity, satisfying exchanges between true hearts. I will sing. Beautiful book. Poetry. Truly is. Our next book is called You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. It's described as 27 bite-sized chapters of inspiring stories, sage advice, easy exercises, and the occasional swear word. I mean, how can you not enjoy a book that has chapter titles like Love the One You Is, or Self-Perception is a Zoo, or Doing versus Spewing? This book it's part buddy, it's part coach, it's part cheerleading team. And in a touch, I particularly like each chapter reminds you to love yourself and it provides an affirmation. So, how do you assert your badassery? Well, how about this? Just become aware of what your stories are. We call these quote unquote stories because they are just that. They are not the truth, and they can be rewritten. You're the author of your own life, not your parents, not society, not your partner, not your friends, nor the bullies who called you Fatzilla in junior high. And the sooner you decide to write yourself a better script, the sooner you get to live a more awesome life. Love that. Oh, and by the way, once you've claimed your status as a badass, you might want to read our next book, Say Yes to Life by Elliot Robertson. In this book, Elliot presents 7 keys to living out from within. 7 keys to living full out from within. Listen to this. It says, what if we come into the world wired for saying yes to life? The time has come for us to relax into the truth of our beings. When we say yes to life, we set ourselves up for falling in love with life. Say yes to your expansiveness, your uniqueness. Say yes to the new, to knowing what you want, to freedom of the past. Say yes to grief. Say yes to happiness and joy. I like that. I remember being challenged years ago by someone who said, say yes to life. And I was like, what does that mean? This book helps a lot. I strongly recommend it. Next book I want to talk about is Rising Strong. This is by Brené Brown, an author, once again, that you probably are well familiar with. In Rising Strong, Brené Brown describes how the ability to reset transforms the way that we live, the way that we love, parent, and lead. So Brené Brown's books are all gold mines of inspiration and information. And they can enable what she refers to as wholehearted living. She describes as being engaging our lives from a place of worthiness. For example, in her book, The Gifts of Imperfection, you were exhorted to be you. In her book, Daring Gently, to be all in. And in this book, in Rising Strong, to fall, get up, and try again. Here's an excerpt from the chapter that's entitled Owning Our Stories. Ooh, yes, we're back to stories again. The irony is that we attempt to disown our difficult stories, to appear more whole or more acceptable. But our wholeness, even our wholeheartedness, actually depends on the integration of all of our experiences, including the falls. So there are times to rewrite our stories, and there are times that our stories are there to teach us. I've got one more book for you. My last book today is, once again, one of my favorites. I probably said one of my favorites for almost all of these books. And if I haven't, well, yeah, they all are. But this one is a particularly wonderful book for me. It's called Begin with Yes, Dream with Intention. It's by Paul S. Boynton. And it's described as a book of nighttime affirmations, but I've got to tell you, it's so much more than that. Part of my spiritual practice is to begin and end my day with a reading and a meditation. And while this book is exactly what it says, it's affirmations that you would read at night, preferably right before bedtime, you know, it's a warm hug. It's a soft shoulder. It's an intuitive friend. It's being tucked in with warmth and grace, without dogma, without jargon, just love. Listen to this one from last night. So Here's what Paul says. Each morning, we wake up and are handed the gift of a new day, a fresh start, and a chance to begin again. It's what we do with this gift that counts. No matter how today went, there's a very good chance you did the best you could. So be extraordinarily gentle with yourself as you fall asleep. You want to be rested and ready for the new day ahead. Love it. Well, that is it for today's episode, folks. Excuse me. And I hope that you'll find some of these books to be as helpful as I did. As I said earlier, if you'd like the list of the books and the authors I discussed, and you don't want to go back to the recording, send me an email. I'll send you the list. I'm also curious to know which books you feel would be a good addition to my library, whether they're books that are about life in general, books specifically about choice, whatever it might be. And as always, I want to offer you an opportunity to come on the show and have a conversation about any topic relating to choice, to give you the opportunity to express your perspectives and your experiences. I'm always interested in hearing topics that you would like me to cover in an upcoming episode. And you can email me at zodimuro@gmail.com. There we go. And I would be more than happy to entertain any topic that you come up with. So I want to thank you for spending this time with me this week. I will encourage you, as always, to go to ntmedia.org to check out all that we have to offer, because there is just so much. We have over 40 hours of programming each week that deals with prayer, meditation, information, and discussion, new thought, music even. Okay. The music is at ntmedia.org/listen. Now, speaking of our programming today, 12 noon Pacific time, which would be 1 p.m. Mountain time, I want you to check out Finding the Joy in the Journey, the most excellent Reverend Gina Calvario-Krupka. Our special guest today is Sabrina Victoria. By the way, while you're exploring the New Thought Media Network, if you can, go to ntmedia.org/donate. Help us bring all of this goodness to the largest possible audience as we work to make this a world that works for everyone. I look forward to seeing you again soon. I have a couple of things here I have to see. Let's see. So Fiona is suggesting The Great Story by Thomas Berry. Thank you. Oh, and his book, Evening Thoughts. Excellent. Thank you, Fiona. Definitely check those out. So, folks, be well. Make good choices, because this is how you are going to bring your greatest experience to your life. Much love and many, many blessings. Namaste.
Choice, your creative superpower. We have the power to manifest as we dedicate attention to our thoughts, but often miss opportunity to achieve the greatest good. Your superpower is waiting to be unleashed to unlock a fuller, more rewarding world for all. Join us every Thursday at noon Mountain Time for Choice, your creative superpower with Zo DeMuro.